Okay, this would be like Top Gun flight school. Okay, Top Gun. You say Top Gun. Everybody think Top Gun. They think about bombs and guns. Top Gun's not always about bombs and guns. Top Gun is like you know, God. Uniting nations. That's a universal nation. It's the heavens. It's like heaven on earth. You say you want to get heaven on earth. Oh, put some astronauts up there to bring some of those aliens and angels down here and help out. And it says, well, the price, the price you pay. Some prices we won't pay. We ain't burning American money no more. You know why? They say, well, the world banking system is priced in American oil. American oil. He says, yeah, American oil. He says, what's American oil? He says, well, you got oil for the machines, and the cars and machineries and stuff, kind of renewable oil, So it says alternative oil, You go, wow, you mean some of the vegetables and stuff out there, you make vegetable oil out of, and then alternative oil, diesel engines and stuff, You got diesel fuel, And I said, well, it's a price of barrels of oil, you know. It's priced with American money. And he says, American dollars. Not American money, American dollars. And he says, what's dollars? Well, dollars for education. So they jacked up the prices for education, and then, the price of American, oil kind of got to fluctuate and mess up the market. So he says, what do you do about that? And he says, well, American money, is American dollars. And what's dollars? Well, you price, the barrels of oil with American dollars. Oil for your heads, wisdom, education. So they price American wisdom with dollars, not dull ears. So if you're listening to God and the Bible, and you go to church and you go to school, well, and you're doing all this amazing stuff for the rest of the world, you see America really is the promised land, and they do some amazing stuff. You guys ever seen Optimus? Optimize Prime. Optimize Prime Time, telepathic vision, And most people, they don't understand that. So, you got angels speak. You go to school, you get an AS. An AS, American Solution. The nation of solutionists, the real colleges. And some of the colleges, they forgot about it. I said, no retaliation. It's cool. Sometimes in mountain time, there's those mountain technicians, missile technicians, media technicians, mankind technicians. If you turn around, you get a TM. You're like Tennessee mountains, the Ten Commandments mountains, the Christ mountains, the Wise mountains. Could be the Colombian mountains, could be the Tennessee mountains, could be the Virginia mountains. The mountains for God. Mountains for God. Well, I said, I made a website and it says, Ministers for God. Ministers for God. Mountains for God. And it says, come back. The biggest mountain of all. The biggest mountain of all. Well, in the Old West, they get on their horses and they ride out to the west like a Pony Express, man, the fastest, informational system you ever seen in your lives. And it's like, well, and people wanted to catch up, so this is, well, maybe we'll build a satellite system, That's like a Secret Service thing, Secret Service intelligence. We'll put it out there, only smart people understand it. Maybe they want to get an education. Well, some of that stuff backfired. They're like, man, kind of didn't work the way we planned on it. We said, well, we got to fix the education system. The education system. He says, yeah, man, we got an E for education and an S for solutions. He says, well, we're suffering together for everybody. We'll show the whole world. So we got these deserts out there that need trees, right? And plants and crops and grasses and stuff. We got good graces, South America. We got rainforests. Remember, they said preserve the rainforest because we're going to need this one day when we start putting all this system together for the educational system. And they go, wow, in America, you got to push 1 for English and 2 for Spanish because of South America, So we got the English people, Great Britain. Remember Great Britain? British intelligence, man. So it's the IBM, intelligence business machine. Oh, like a little computer processor. My family, when I was growing up, he says, man, they're going to put you in the Department of Homeland Security, so I need you to remember how to spell computer. And this is how do you spell computer? And my Uncle Gary, he says, man, remember, it's IBM, International Business Machine. Oh, okay. So he's like, okay, International Business Machine. Yeah, because Amusements of America, man. We're trying to make fun education, for those angels of America or those aliens of America. It doesn't matter, man. We go to South America with all these trees, man. We did an operational transplant. A lot of people, they need a heart transplant, learn about a little love in the world, man. They go, did you get a heart transplant? Well, what about the heart of America? And I said, when everybody look at the heart of America, they start seeing the United States of America, a big continent. Don't you know why they made a BC temple church? Just because, you know, because, it's like, the justice of the cause, JOTC, you see, Joe, the Christ, Joe, the wisdom. Can you remember that? And it says, yeah, I remember that from my grandmother. He says, well, if you put an R in there, you remember the reserve, and it says RA, yeah, if you get an RA, you put an M on the end and you call it the Ram, you know. Oh, yeah, the reservist, American man, or the reservist angel man. And it says, well, we got a bunch of those now, huh? It says, yeah, man. Remember the Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps? Officer and a gentleman like the Navy, the U.S. Navy. Well, they remember that Top Gun flight school now, huh? Oh, it's because wisdom is priced in American dollars. What's a dollars? Well, you got those doles, man, You ever seen a big ship come in? They got to have those doles they tie off to, It says, well, you come to the shore, like the explorers did, with the Indians and stuff. They tied off to the shore, but they burned the ships because they didn't understand each other. So they had to work out their communications. And the story of, Plymouth Rock, it's just, it's an old HBO show called Fraggle Rock, man. They had a bunch of crazy headbangers, and we made heavy metal music for that, man. It's like banging our head on the wall trying to figure stuff out. So I was like, okay. So we had the doll ears. So, they said of a big navy, technology ships and submarines and all kinds of cool stuff. We'll make spaceships and satellites, and we even put a big international space station up there for United Space Alliance. Got Star Trek and everything. We're like, we got all kind of cool stuff. So I said, remember the doll? Yeah. And then you put an ARS on the back of it. ARS, yeah, Angel Reserve System, in case everything got crazy. We got an Angel Reserve System, the American Reserve System, the new international version, the U.S. Navy, you see? And I started looking at that and they go, man, I can't believe it, I says, well, they said if you had a Navy chaplain, you had to cater to everybody. And that's the universal healthcare system, We started that up there in Atlanta, spaceship, and stuff, it's like I got a Stargate Atlantis. Can anybody find the Stargate Atlantis? Well, because, it's in Atlanta at the Center for Disease Control and kind of disappeared, no paper trail. It's probably because, they made a movie about that, too. He says, you got a Navy SEAL over here with guns and stuff, and he's hiding. He goes, hey, what did he do today? I don't know what he's going to do next, man, but he was here. And all we found was a cheeseburger wrapper. The kid liked cheeseburgers, so he had a McDonald's cheeseburger wrapper. He kind of left it in the bushes over there. And then where'd he go next? He says, well, I don't know, man. I think he went to South America. He says, oh, okay. Well, we had a true and present danger, He's like a true and present danger. Yeah, truant. A lot of people were truant to school. They should have went to school, got a good education. It's like a present danger. A present danger. Yeah, it's so stupid. And some people are shooting at cops. And the PD is like, man, you got a present danger. You go to a house, and we don't know what's gonna happen when they open the door, man. And it's like, well, we don't want to shoot at people. We don't want people shooting us, so we make a bunch of tasers instead, man. Now we got taser guns. Kind of shooting with taser guns. And it's like, oh man, well we had laser tag. We tried laser tag, we don't have to shoot them, so we made taser guns, And so he said, maybe we'll fix the education now, I said, well, a lot of people can't afford education, so we price, American dollars, with the wisdom of our education. So he says, well, if we get both sides of the continents working together, big America. You got big America, yeah, the A team, the American team, We had BA with the A team, big America, one big continent, And it's like BAC, When I was in Atlanta at the Center for Disease Control, they let me talk to a bunch of little gangster kids doing drugs and stuff. And it's like, hey, we got this new gang coming out. It's going to be the MS-13. He said, what's the MS-13? Well, Microsoft, like Bill Gates and the GATE program. And then we're going to have like one Trinity. And it's like one nation educated for Trinity. Yeah, man, the research and development is finally going to pay off. I'm like, okay, cool. The BAC, yeah, the Bloods and Crypts. Oh, because people were shooting each other and they're getting all bloody, and then they put them in crypts, the crypt keepers. So we had Tales from the Crypt from HBO telling all these horror stories and stuff, and you got all these voodoo people down there in Mississippi with these crypts above ground and going, all this crazy stuff. So it was like, maybe if we get them to talk to God a little bit, we can up the value of American money while repairing the entire continent and the education, and then we have one nation educated, and then we take that with the space program. We got a visitor center, where they fly people over on planes and stuff, and eventually it builds up with enough stuff for progress, and we start fixing the fields and dreams and trees and crops and resources, and then boom. I actually know how to build a USS Enterprise with the rest of my family. Matter of fact, we got a few of those ships hidden up in the mountains you'll never find. But that's what Area 51 is about. And I mean, the basic science is this: you guys see a weather balloon floating up, and then you see the guy dive off like the Star Trek movie. Remember, they're flying around and stuff. And it says, well, maybe if we take a weather balloon and we say Red Bull, man, those bloody bulls are crazy, man. They're bull-headed, so we got to give them some education and say, well, they saw the weather balloon go up with the Red Bull, and then the guy jump off, he's spinning around. He says, you see the Star Trek movie, Into the Darkness? Well, he jump off this thing into the darkness, man. It'll scare the hell out of him. It's like coming down to Earth, and where's the education? So he says, well, it's kind of like how they lift off with the USS Enterprise, the Star Trek spaceship, they can lift it up like that without a whole lot of fuel, alternative fuel and stuff, and gases and science and stuff. And then when it gets to space, then warp drives and stuff, man. Didn't you see it? They had that new engine. Supposedly it was new. Not really, man. We had that technology a long time, and it says, hey, you see SpaceX? Space. Multiply. Space is for resources, like the Mars mission stuff. Practice in the desert, building all that stuff up. And I'm going to go, wow, that's amazing. I never thought of it like that. And he says, well, did you talk to Mr. Kirk? He said, all you had to do was ask.